Let's talk today about, now since we sort of went off on a little bit of a rabbit trail, because I mean, let's face it, we can get off on these things. We can talk about this for a long time. Faye, my computer is not working, so you're going to be running the slideshow. There is a lot of different things we could talk about and so many different rabbit holes that we can go down this. And that is one of the things I love about real estate. Everybody here has a different thing. I heard a guy the other day, he only works with dispensaries. Like all he does is he buys, fixes up, and gets things ready to go for dispensaries. How much longer he's going to stay in business, I don't know. He was sort of struggling right now. He's not doing so great. So having that diversification and having those things inside of your business is very important. But finding out what it is that you want to do in real estate, narrowing down. Who's your customer? Like we were talking about earlier. Do we want to do rent by the room? Do we want to do something else? Every single thing that you do in real estate, every single thing that's different that you do in real estate takes a lot of learning curve. Like right now, I'm going through the rent by the room thing. It's taking my time. I went to 3 different meetups. I'm watching all these different videos. We're having conversations about it. Every time I hear somebody talk about rent by the room or hear them talk about something like that, I'm like, bam, what? Tell me more about it, right? Education, learn, problems. Fortunately, I have another business, my regular rental business, that is still running very smoothly. I know what to do. We have our processes. We have our systems in place. We have all the things in place. And so we can continue running our business smoothly. But the trick is in this business, guys, is to get good at one thing. Like you guys were doing flips, right? And you were talking about you wanting to start moving and doing some buy and holds and some other properties. That's a learning curve. Like I'm sure your first flip went really smooth and you made $1 million on it, but mine didn't. Mine was a little bit harder to do. I had a huge learning curve. My second flip, my guy didn't pull permits on it, and I ended up having to completely remodel the house after I flipped it. And after I sold it. And my attorney told me, and she said, "What?" I was like, "What should I do here?" She says, "Whatever you can do not to call me again, is you are screwed." I was like, she says, "Do not, whatever happens, do not get attorneys involved. You will lose." I was like, nuts. So that was one of the first lessons that I learned in real estate, and that one cost me 20 grand. And fortunately I made 50 on it. But unfortunately I spent the money as soon as I got it. So oops. Anyway, so those are the kind of lessons that you learn as you go through this. So I want to introduce you guys to how I keep track, and this is what I give my students, and this is what I've been working on for the last couple of years. If you guys want to buy these, you're more than welcome to. They're $40 a piece. If you don't want to buy them, you're more than welcome to not write into them, please. If you guys would like to, there's a QR code online. If you go to my Facebook page or anything like that, right now we're streaming it live. You guys can go in there and you can get the first 7 pages. You can print them off. They're free. Please use them as much as possible. These are some of the tricks and tips that I've used over the years to get me to where I am. I'm ADD, guys. I hate to break it to you. I'm ADD super bad. Focus is hard for me. So this is some of the tools and tricks that I've had to do to get myself to focus for an entire year on a project. Okay. And when I say a project, like I'm going to go flip 52 houses in a year. I'm going to go flip. I'm going to add on $20,000 in gross rents. I'm going to go do that stuff. It takes a long time. It's really futuristic mindset that you have to do. I'm going to do an event for Tez here in a little bit, and I'm going to do it on Tez is going to talk about wholesaling, which is the quick money. They're going to talk about some getting out of your job money, and then I'm going to talk about buy and hold. And I'm going to give them a 5-year journal because I want them to understand that this is a long time. Okay. It takes a long time to build up assets and go build these things at $200 a month profit. It takes a while to get yourself out of your job. It's not, unfortunately, back in the day when you used to get $300, $400, $500 a month. Nowadays, 2 or 3. Some of my students have gotten $400 and $500 a month in cash flow, positive cash flow. And that is a high 5 home run deal from me. So you guys have to figure out what you're going to be doing and where you're going to be working on. So part of this book is to go through this. Now, you see the QR code there? That QR code is eventually going to be tied to this video and a lot of things that we're doing right now. Right now it goes to, hi, thanks for coming. One of the things I realized as I've been doing this is Harvard. If you guys ever heard about Harvard, Harvard is where like the elites go. After Harvard students graduated, they went and tracked them after several years, and 3% of them wrote down their goals. Out of the 3%, they were 97% more successful than the rest. And simply by writing down your goal and trying to figure out where you want to go. One of my favorite quotes is Alice in Wonderland. He said, Alice saw that she asked the treasure cat, where should I go? He's like, where are you trying to go? And she's like, I don't know where to go. He's like, then it matters not which way to go, because eventually you're going to get there. Right. So most people in life never pick a direction. Most people in life get up, do the job their parents told them to do. Maybe the job that their parents gave them or pushed them towards, or maybe something that they thought was cool when they were a kid. They got their degree. Now they're stuck in it. They're running the 9-to-5 race, and they're waiting for 65 so they can die at 75. I mean, that's what they're doing. And it's cool. If that's what you guys want to do, and if you're happy doing your 9-to-5 life, then I'm not one to judge. I am definitely not one to judge. But if you're not, then go pick a direction. I have on my wall, I love those motivational quotes, and it says, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And so I wrote in Sharpie underneath it. So make sure you go in the right direction, right? Because if you get 1,000 steps, that 6 years from now, you wake up and you're like, wow, this is where I want to be. That's why we read our Bible and go do those things, because it's so easy to get off track. Right? Just a little sin, a little sin, a little sin, a little sin. Next thing you know, you're way off the track where you want to be. Same thing in life. Like you wake up, you're watching a little extra TV, scrolling on internet a little bit longer. I didn't get my 2 things done today. I didn't get my 2 things done tomorrow. I didn't get my 2 things done the next day. 6 months down the road, you wake up, you're like, oh man, it's Q4, which we're into, guys, by the way. This is Q4. Hopefully you guys are crushing your dreams and goals and aspirations for this year. And if not, why not? Go get some help. Like really, go get some help. I'm here to help. If I'm not for you, go get it. Go get somebody else. Some of you guys just need to go talk to a psychologist and go get some of your mommy and daddy issues worked through. Okay. I'm telling you, because I went and did it. Like I was in a room full of very, very wealthy people. And I realized I was the only one in the room that didn't work on the CEO. The most important person in the room had not worked on the most important thing, which is me. Like he was like, how much did you spend last year on your CPA? How much did you rent? How much did you spend on mental health? Oh, would not. He's like, why don't you go look into that? I did, and it changed everything for me. Just went in and talked to a counselor. Hey, you got some issues here. Why don't you go look at them? You got some issues with money. You got some issues here. Went and did some Tony Robbins things. Anyway, I'm not going to go over this. So you guys have your chance. If you do take this book home with you, we have our 100 things that you want. This could take anywhere. Typically, when I sit with my students and do this, this could take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Sometimes 2 or 3 hours. I literally sit down, and it takes a while to get through 100 things. And sometimes I got to get to the point, taco, a burrito. I'm trying to come up with stuff, right? Because after you really think, 100 things, I want everything. You really only want a few things. A nicer home, maybe, or maybe your house painted, something simple. So after you go through your 100 things in this book, then I have you go back and rate them on level of importance on a scale to 1 to 10. So let's face it, there's a lot of things we want. But if I told you like what you have to go sacrifice, it's like my wife, we were in a position, we were at 87 doors. And I was like, okay, babe, let's take a break. Like, I'm ready to take a break. Let's not work. Like let's shut down. Let's get rid of half our crews, 2/3 of our crews, and I'm ready to take a break. And she was like, we're so close to our goal. And I was like, yeah, we are. We're really close to our goal. She's like, let's keep going. I was like, do you know what you're asking for? And she was like, yes. Now she's regretting that. She didn't really realize what she was. I was like, no, you don't know what you're asking for. I know what it's going to take to hit these goals and to go do this, which was to add another 52 doors on top of what we already had. And it was like, well, I can do it. Let's do it. But look at what we're going to be. Look at the cost that we're going to do. Now, still today, we're glad that we did it. We're stressing. We're thinking a little bit more about maybe we should have stretched our goal to 2 years instead of a year. There's some other things there we could have done. But look at the cost, right? You want a kid, that's great. Think of the cost that you're getting into. We're going to be late nights. There's going to be diapers. There's going to be other things. You want a portfolio of houses? That's great. You want to rent by the room? That's great. You want to help out the homeless community? That's great. What's the cost that's going to come with that? Right? What is those things? So breaking down your goals here and then breaking it down after that, how long do you want it? Give yourself a timeline. So after we break down our timeline here, then the next one is to write down your 5 top goals out of those 100. All right. There's going to be a few of them. So mine right now, I racked up some credit card debt, got that apartment building, got some other stuff. My major objective right now, pay off credit cards. My second objective right now is energy. I want to raise my energy levels. So anything I'm doing, anything I'm eating, except for that cake, you guys did not see that. That pie, chocolate pie, is addictive here. I'm just saying, if you guys go down and get some, you will not come back and not get another one next time. You will come back every week and get another piece of that chocolate pie. It is amazing. So anyway, energy levels is one of my second one, and that one's none of your business. And then helping others, and then I want to I want to raise my personal income. That's going to be my next thing. And then my last thing I'm working on after I pay off the credit cards, I'm going to do a cash out refi, and we're going to reposition ourselves on some 30-year notes and some stuff like that. So that's my big objective for the next 100 days till the end of this year. I'm really pushing right now. We've got most everything in order right now. I would say we're probably 60-70% on our goals. We're crushing it, like every week, every month. My next goal I want to do is I want to do 90K in gross rents. Like, that's my next big push I'm doing right now. Like, how am I going to get there? What are we going to do? How are we going to get those rents up? Are we raising rents? There's so many different dials we can tweak, right? We can either raise the rents that we have. We can go buy more houses. We can go buy already leased houses. We can go buy rent by the room that rents out for money. We can go buy Airbnbs, right? There's 500 different things we can go do, but we have to look at what we have. What's our talents? What's our skill set that we already have? And how can we leverage that skill set now? And working on that every single day. So after we get over here and we get to that, it's a little repetitive. And I did that on purpose because I really want you guys, as you're going through here, defining your goal. Okay, one of my favorite verses in the Bible, it says, I forgot it. Write it plainly, write it so a heralder can go speak it. And it's talking about going and making something so clear and so precise that a heralder, and basically back then, they didn't have the internet. They would heralder, a guy would yell through the streets, so-and-so's getting married, whatever the case is, right? And so you got that message down to, that's because he charged by the word, right? So a heralder, you want to get that message down short, precise. I want to make sure it's stuck. Same thing with your goals. Like, it doesn't need to be, and so our children can go into college and blah, blah, blah. No, we want something short. We want something that we can write on a daily basis. Because once we get this goal written down, we're going to write it every single day. There's nothing more important than a written goal. There's also nothing more powerful than a written goal every single day. If you write it every day, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. There was the rule, the human mind grossly underestimates what it can do in a day, and grossly overestimates. It overestimates what it can do in a day and underestimates what it can do in a year. Like the flywheel, there's a compound effect. If you guys ever read that book, that is an amazing, amazing book. It talks about getting that flywheel going. Now I can go buy apartment complexes. It's not a big deal. I've already got my wheel going. But if I would have started them beginning my career, that would have been the end of my career. All right. Next thing, define your goal. Write it down. Make it clear. Make it plain. Try and make it so plain that you can get it down on a one-sheet piece of paper. There's one of my favorite books is called The One-Page Marketing Plan. It's like, get it to one point. Make it so simple that when you give it to your little kid, he looks at it and says, Mommy, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Right? Like, Dad, why aren't you making your 50 sales calls today? Did you make your 50 sales calls? Like, it needs to be so defined that you can get your 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 6-year-old, whatever, to hold you accountable to it. And if it's not that simple, go back to the drawing board and do it again. SMART goals, a little bit of another activity here. I've tried to find some really great verses in here that we can use. And then redefining your SMART goal once again. I want to make sure we're on page 17 of your hymnal there, or it's 18, 17 and then 18. Oh, here it is. It's right there on the bottom of 17. Record the vision and inscribe it on a tablet that the one who reads it may run. Yep, go ahead. So you want to be able to run with it. I mean, a tablet that was made on stone. So if you're writing something on stone that's being ran with, it's probably not going to be, and so begot. It's going to be simple. Make it simple. Visualize your activity. This is another visualize. And then why do you want it, guys? The biggest thing to me is, why are we doing what we do? Because this is going to suck. Okay. If it doesn't suck, you can go get a job. I tell people all the time, you want to be overnight success? Great. Come to work for me. Friday, I'll give you a paycheck. Cha-ching. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to go build a business, you want to go grow something cool, you want to go do something awesome with your career, your life, whatever, it's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take some pain. It's going to be some work. So you got to know why you're doing it, and you got to have a why big enough that it's going to pull you through the suck. Right? I joke with Jack all the time, choose your suck, right? Guys, you can choose this. You can have the suck of being poor. You have the suck of being rich, right? They're both going to suck. I'll tell you, being rich is a whole lot better suck to me than being poor. I have had the other suck. It works. You got a lot more free time. It's a lot more, you got a lot more friends hanging around. But I'm telling you that you can't do nothing. You can't do anything. You don't go anywhere. It's not a lot of fun. So choose your suck, right? And the next one here, you guys are like, oh, yep, doodle. I'm all about doodles. Getting that brain activated, right? This is all about getting this brain of yours activated on a piece of paper, right? Getting those thoughts out of your head. How many thoughts do you have a day? A lot. I want to say 60,000. Women have more thoughts than men. I don't know what the numbers are, but we have a lot of thoughts every single day. So getting those thoughts out of your head and getting on paper, instead of just being like, I think today I'm going to, no, you put it on paper. You jotted it down. My buddy Jack Kawan, I love this dude. We were going through one of these courses one day, and we go through the exercise. I got through mine. I continued to use my book. That was one of those freedom journals we were talking about earlier. And he went and pulled it out 2 years later, and he accomplished every single thing that was on his board. Every single thing he had written down, just by simply writing it down. Even if you guys just go through this book and don't use the whole next 100 days of it, just the simple deal of going through the first 10 pages, 20 pages, I think it was 22 pages of the exercise of writing down your goals and making a plan and getting to that level will change your life. I divided this book into 7-day sprints. So page 21 here is the start page. So on this one here, I really want you guys to look at, like, this is a start. This is your Sunday morning, Sunday evening. This is Sunday reflection. I don't believe in working on Sundays. The only thing I like to do on Sundays is spend about 30 to 40 minutes planning my week. And I think the rest of the time you need to be spending that with God and family and friends. That needs to be your day of rest. Like, if you can't accomplish everything in 7 days, you probably need to focus and hire some more help. So that's my 2 cents. So you're going to break it down. What's my big goal for the next 7 days? Like, what am I going to work on for the 7 days? Not for the next 100 days. Let's just break it down. If I get this one stepping stone now, what is it? Right now for us, we're setting up a new LLC. What's the first thing I need to do? Go pick the name. We got the name. Now I got to go sit the LLC docs and go get the EIN. That doesn't take too long, but it takes some time. If I get that one stepping stone, then I can figure out next week what the next stepping stone is. Right? I'm busy. I don't have all day. I don't have weeks to sit over here and write my business plan and all this stuff, but I can go make one little increase, one little step. I can continue doing that every single day and every single week and chipping away at this elephant little bits at a time. And that's what this is for, to chip away at this elephant. One habit I will implement over the next 7 days. So for me right now, my wife and I are working on the 30-30. We're getting up 30 minutes of cardio within 30 minutes of rising and 30 grams of protein for rising. So we're working on it. Not doing great, not going to lie. I'm doing better than the wife. No, I wake up early, so it's easier for me. But anyway, it's the constant thing at our house. It's funny. So anyway, that's something we're working on right now. Like bringing up, but that's one of my major things, like bringing up energy levels. How can I bring up energy levels? Very first thing, get up and move. We're the power plant of energy. We don't consume energy. We are energy. So remembering to get that energy going in the morning. All right, next day, I've got this broken down into Monday mornings, Monday nights. So, and Monday morning, you're going to get over here. The very first thing you want to do is read something positive. I try to put a little quote up there. You guys should read. I'd suggest the Bible, but there's all kinds of other books you can go read. Go find a daily reader. There's another one. John Maxwell's has a daily one, 360 days. That was really good. It was on leadership. There was another one on landlords that was pretty decent. I've read not too long ago, but find something in the morning. Spend 5-10 minutes. We're not talking all day. Let's face it. The rest of the day, you guys are about to get slapped in the face from morning to night. Let's face it. Every single day we're getting slapped. Let's spend just a few minutes as putting on our armor, getting ready for the day, right? So That's the first thing. And then I am thankful for. I don't think there's anything more powerful than being gratitude. All right. Finding the gratitude within the day, finding the gratitude within in the minutes, finding the gratitude within the suck. Like it's gonna suck, y'all. So let's find some gratitude within that. Right. I am so happy and grateful that most of my tenants pay rent this month. I'm so happy and grateful for the 80% of my tenants, not the 20%, but I'm gonna look at the not the ones that come up at every single meeting. We're not gonna talk about those. I'm gonna go be grateful for the other 80 or 98%, 99, 97%, whatever it is that I have that are paying the rent and doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right? Let's be grateful for that. Let's be grateful for our kids. Yeah, they're doing everything we want them to do. No, but let's face it, I'm not doing everything I want to do. I should want to be doing. So let's give ourselves a little grace. Here's the part, and this is the countdown. In 99 days, I want you guys to know as you're going through this, you got 99 days to finish this. Whatever you're working on, you got 99 working days. Sundays you get off, so there's actually 90. You got a few extra days, working days in there because you get Sundays off. But in 99 days, I'm going to accomplish blank. Right now, finish credit card debt and finish refis. So what's today am I going to do? Right? What's that person I'm going to go talk to? By the end of the day, if you could just do one thing today, one of my other favorite books, The One Thing. What's the one thing today? Such by doing it, everything else will be easier and unnecessary. So I focus on that one thing. What is the one thing I can do today? Now, for you guys, lowering a 0.25% interest rate on your credit cards or rent on a credit account probably isn't a big deal. But for my company, that's a big deal. We got a lot of debt, right? Going out and finding one new contractor that can do that one job to save us $75 doesn't sound like a big deal, but I do that 3 times a week. That's a big deal, right? Finding a new yard guy was one of our things. Finding a new plumber was one of my projects. And it was like, find that plumber that's going to work. And we found the guy. He's awesome. I love him. He takes care of us. He snakes drains. He does everything. He's reasonable. And I mean, shoot, don't get me wrong. We paid him like $100 and some thousand last year. So he's a little loyal too now. So what's the one thing to get to my SMART goal, right? Don't look at the 50 things, the 60 things, the 70 things. We'll get overrun with all the stuff. You're like, oh my God, if I got to do, no, one thing today. You do that every day. That's 6 things a week. We're getting knocked out. We're getting somewhere, guys. To accomplish that, let's go break it down. I wrote down 6 steps here. Sometimes you might need 1. Sometimes you might need 2. Sometimes you might be like, my first step, tie my shoes, get up out of the day. Sometimes people need check marks. Sometimes you might need a couple check boxes. Be like, hey, I just need to check off a box and give me an easy win today. I put on my shoes today. My wife today, she came out and she was like, high five. I was like, what? She goes, I got my makeup on. Hey, if that's your win for the day and that's her first step, like if she gets her makeup on for the day, I mean, the rest of the day is going to go a lot. I don't understand the whole makeup thing. Whatever. If she gets her makeup on, everything else is going the right direction. She gets her exercise, gets her makeup on. Now she's able to accomplish her day. For me, it's exercising, get my Bible reading, getting my stuff done, and getting out of the door before 9 o'clock. If I stay in the house before 9 o'clock, the office sucks me in. I'm there all the rest of the day. And the next thing you know, I'm scrolling on TikTok. So that second and last most important thing is how you identify yourself. Okay. I am affirmations. All right. For the longest time, I was a contractor. I am a contractor. What do you do? I am a contractor. I am a contractor. One day it changed and they said, what do you do? I said, I am a real estate investor that dabbles in contracting. And I was like, and somebody said that and I was like, oh, when that happened? I was still a contractor. 99% of the time I was dabbling in real estate. My time and energy, but the mind shift changed. And next thing you know, I was a real estate investor dabbling in contracting. And now if you ask me, I'm a real estate investor. That's what I specialize in. Making Oklahoma beautiful, one home at a time. That's our business model. And that's what I focus on all the time. Let's make these houses beautiful, get beautiful tenants in them and get them paying us money. Identity. How do you identify yourself? So I also, whenever you write this I am affirmation, I want you to take a second, take a minute, After you write each one of these and take a deep breath and really envision yourself being that. I am that. Say it out loud. Put it inside of you. It's going to sound really dumb at first. I want you to put it on your mirror. I want you to put it on your vision board. Okay. Another thing I do, there's a book called The High Five Habit. If you look on my wall, I literally have a Sharpie with a high five, and I high five myself and try and tell in the mirror. And I have to tell myself something I'm happy about myself, something I'm proud that I accomplished today. And sometimes you have to really dig, even though my wife tells me I'm too hard on myself. But, sometimes you have to go do those things. I am what? I am successful. I am happy. Yeah, I didn't get the 50 things I wanted today. Did I do the most important thing today? Right? Did I do those things that were most important to me? Then the second most important thing, science has proved that every single night, the last thing that you focus on, the last thing that you read or put into your mind, your brain works on. I watched a study, and it was on sleep studies. And it was all this really cool sleep study. And this guy goes into this ski machine. And it's a video game where you actually get on the ski machine and you move your body. So he has to go through this, and they're trying to see what's the improvement rate of sleep. They have somebody go in the beginning of the day, another group goes in the end of the day, and half the group gets a full REM sleep and half the group doesn't. And they break these into 4 different control groups or 5 different control groups. I forget how many groups there were. But the part that made the most attention to me was the person who did it first thing in the morning for an hour, and the second group did it right before bed. When they woke them up in REM sleep, the first group, 3, 4, 5% of them thought about the game. They were working through it, skiing, doing some kind of activity. The second group, when they woke them up, they say, "What are you dreaming about?" "I'm walking through snow." The next one was next dream, "I'm going through the snow." The next one was, "I'm skiing through the snow." The next one was, he woke up, he has a nightmare. He was falling off a cliff, skiing, right? So his brain was working through this all night long, working through all these activators. I'm not a scientist, whatever they call it. Anyway, he was working through this all night long, this science, going through this deal of being better at skiing. So the next day they wake him up. Now they let him go play the game again. The one who did it at night, okay, I want to say it was 50 or 60% increase. The ones in the morning that did it in the morning, they were 10% increase. So the people at night, because they were working on it all night long through their brain and of course, the second part of it was the ones who actually got a full night's sleep increased even more. And the ones that got woke up all night, they didn't get improved as much. Can't imagine my sleep deprivation caused a problem there. But so going at night and saying, okay, this is what my goal is. This is what I did. Evaluating yourself and spending the rest of the night working on it, right? Inside of your brain. How many times do most people write their goals? I mean, average person, I think 99%, 90% of people write their goals at 0. Absolutely. What is the second most group writes their goals or thinks about their goals? New Year's resolutions. That's right. And then when do we revisit our New Year's resolutions? The next year, right? And then after that 6 years, we couldn't make a New Year's resolution because we're tired of not accomplishing them. I'm I don't know why. I spent 30 minutes thinking about losing 75 pounds and it didn't happen. I made a New Year's resolution to go get a diet and go all this stuff. It didn't happen. I can't imagine why. Well, did you write it out? Did you put it on your mirror? Did you do a vision board? Did you call a wait list coach? Did you call somebody? Did you get help? Did you call 5 friends? Did you go make yourself accountable on Facebook? Did you start the 75 hard challenge and go take a naked picture of your fat body and shame yourself to go get to the gym? I mean, what is it? Everybody has their own thing. I'm not saying any of that stuff is right, but did you take some kind of action to go get to your goals and dreams and aspirations? If not, well, then congratulations. Next year, you can make another New Year's resolution that doesn't work. I used to make them all the time. Next year, I'm going to be rich. Next year, I'm not going to have anger problems. Next year, never happened. I didn't focus on it on a regular basis. Nighttime. 2 fantastic events. Let's face it, guys. We got 500 things went wrong today. Let's focus on the good. Before you go to bed, I want you guys to focus on the good. You will be more motivated by the positive things that you do than you ever did on the negative. Trust me. Your brain automatically looks at, you did this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. You could have done this. You should have done this. You should have done. Your brain already goes to that. Let's focus on what's good. Tony Robbins says what we focus on grows, right? So focusing on if we're focusing on the good is going to grow. If you focus on how bad things are, it's going to grow. This also works with your kids, by the way, just so you guys know. Focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. What did I do right today? Okay. How can I do this again tomorrow and make it even better? Just like a small 1%. What is that 1% increase that you could do tomorrow to make this better? Like, imagine 1% every day. I think by the end of the year, you're 560,000 times better or something like that. I forget what the math is, but it's a lot. Like little bitty incremental changes, I'm not going to the gym, but I did get up and get my shoes on. Okay. Tomorrow I went to the gym, didn't work out. Next day, by the end of the year, you're losing 100 pounds and you're doing great. Just little bitty changes. You're like, are you in diet? No, but I'm drinking my water. Great. What's next week? After you get your water, what's the next habit we're going to implement? Who knows where you could be 5-10 years from now? Guys, my whole dream in life was maybe possibly if I have 5 to 10 houses, maybe possibly do a flip a year. And we're way past that. Like you'll be amazed. Just these little bitty increases. I remember when I first started doing this, my goal was to do 4 a year. And within 3 months, I was doing 2 a month. And it was like, whoa, I need to readjust my goals. One difficulty I encountered. I don't do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's one thing I encountered today? Okay. And I put a difficulty in there because a lot of times what we're dealing with is emotions, or we're dealing with a child. We're not dealing with 99% of the time. It's not, or it's an employee. It's not really like work stuff or stuff. It can be, but a lot of times it's personal stuff. What did I learn today about yourself or your business? Like taking that few seconds and being like, what did I learn today? Man, I really learned that, on the phone talking to people, I need to do this. When I'm on the phone and I'm talking to people or I'm making sales call, I need to do this. I'm sure in your wholesaling business that you've been running for a while, I bet you found all kinds of little tweaks and stuff in your internet things that you work on and all the other things that you guys do. I mean, all these little bitty things. But what's that one thing? If you just made that 1% change in your marketing platform, if you just did that 1% change, I was talking to a roofing company the other day, and she was like, oh, I don't have any. I was like, what if you got a 1% deduction in your roofing supplies? She was like, I was like, how much business do you do? And they did millions of dollars worth of roofing. I was like, so what if you got a 1%? She was like, that would be like, what was that, $50,000 or $50,000, $30,000, whatever the deal was, and an extra profit. Is it worth the phone call? Would it be worth calling 3 distributors this week to make $20,000, $30,000 this year? Right? So making those little bitty, they look so insignificant, guys. Everybody looks at the big stuff. I remember one day somebody looked over and was like, man, Andrew, you're doing great. What changed? You made great strides one day. Buddy, I've been making great strides, little changes every single day for the last 10 years. It just so happens that was the day I got a cash out refi and they put $500,000 in my pocket. That's what changed. It wasn't the fact that I went and got a bookkeeper and learned how to do books 4 years ago and worked on that for 4 years to get everything tweaked up so I could go get my loan, so I could go get that, so I could get that, so I could go get the new truck. Today, it looks like I'm doing great, but it wasn't today. It was those little bitty steps. It's working those little bitty incremental steps that nobody sees. The next thing, I talked to blank. That's supposed to be a number. Lenders, sellers, contractors, bankers. Who do you need to be talking to? And tomorrow, bankers, I put a blank there so that way you guys could add in whatever else you guys need to talk to. Who is it that you need to be talking to? Everything you want and everything you need belongs to somebody else right now. You guys ever think about that? Everything that you want, all those 100 things that you want in that list, somebody else has in their back pocket, in their bank account, in their garage, in their barn, in their storage, in their pipeline, right? You just got to ask them for it. That's it. Like, ask. Closed mouth don't get fed. We won't get into that. Tomorrow I will talk to blank. Now, I left it longer there because I actually want to write their name. Tomorrow I talk to blank. Who am I going to talk to tomorrow? Okay, based on everything I did yesterday, if I want to get 1% better today, and my goal was to lose weight, tomorrow I could talk to a health trainer. Who is that? In a minute. Google it right then before you get up the next day. Let's not wait and let's put the telephone number right there. Let's put it in our phone book. Let's put it in our planner at night. That way tomorrow when you get up, you go, ding, oh, hey, call that number. Hey, how much do you charge for? Oh, that's way too much. Tomorrow I'm going to go tell somebody else. Or, hey, that's way cheaper than I thought it was. There's so many times I thought things were going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ended up I could get it done for a couple $100, right? I thought if hiring a full-time bookkeeper was going to cost me, $100,000 a year, and it's cost me a fraction of that. So, name them. I talked to blank, name them. So how many people we're going to talk to? Name those people. If you need to, write them down. Why are they so important? What do they have that you need to get to your SMART goal? What is that thing? If it's weight, if it's money, if it's houses, right? What are we going to talk to them about? I need to go talk to another banker, right? What are we going to talk to them about? How long are we going to talk to them? What kind of, once again, you go to bed with that in your mind, your brain's going to go, okay, in this scenario, we could do this. This scenario could be this. If we talk to him tomorrow and he doesn't answer, how are we going to go around this? Oh, I got to talk to somebody because I want to do my checkbox tomorrow. If he doesn't answer tomorrow, who else could I call to go get my checkbox answered, right? Or get my checkbox mount. I am affirmation once again. Today's final prayer, thought, using, just, you notice I don't put a whole page here, just real quick. Like, what's a quick thought? And a lot of times mine is, Lord, help me get through the day. You help me through today, help me through tomorrow, right? Help me get through that conversation I'm going to have, that difficult conversation. A lot of times there's just some really difficult conversation that needs to be had. Day, night, it repeats. I finally got the quotes the way I want them. So there's a whole bunch of quotes in here, guys. Tried to pick out some of the best ones from the best people that I've accumulated over the years. All right, we're going to switch on over to 6 days. I believe 6 days of man shall work and the seventh day shall rest. If you guys have jobs, JOBs, then obviously Saturday is going to be your big day in real estate. You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Probably a lot of your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is lining up stuff so you can go look at a house on Saturday. Is so you can go talk to a contractor on Saturday. Is it might be your Home Depot day where you're going to go spend the entire day and do nothing but scan QR codes so that you can go get that in the bid room on Monday, right? Who knows what Saturday is going to be, but that's probably going to be your big work day if you have a job, right? Or maybe you have something out throughout the week, but Monday through Friday. And your Saturday might be, hey, I'm going to be the best stinking dad today, mom today. I'm going to be present with my kids. I'm not touching my phone today, so that way I can go crush it the other 5 days of the week, right? You guys need to decide on how your life looks and how that balance looks for you guys. Obviously, if you have 2, 3, 4-year-olds at home, your life's going to look a whole lot different than me that's got an 18 or 17-year-old at home that comes through and says, hey, I'm leaving. Where? Wait, hey, wait. You still live here? I ask her that all the time. Like, do you still live here? I'm just curious. She's like, yes, my room is still there. My stuff is there. I'm like, all right, cool. So you guys have to decide on where that is for you, right? Everybody's journey is different. My daddy didn't hand me $1 million low interest loan to get my business started, right? Some people will start from other places. I didn't get to sit and have a conversation. My dad told me I was going to go bankrupt in real estate and it was a waste of time. So, of course, he's my biggest fan now. But when I first started, he didn't think it was possible because he wasn't able to do it. So everybody's going to start in a different place. Everybody has their own anchors that they have to get through. So, and everybody's journey isn't the same. Find somebody that you can serve that you like to deal with. Okay. So if that is a Airbnb and you hate dealing with you don't want to be a hospitality person, Airbnb probably not going to be your thing, right? If you're just like, I just want to buy it, set it and forget it, then you're probably going to be looking at commercial and not single family stuff, right? You're like, I never want to deal with toilets or tenants. Well, then maybe that means you need to go hire a property manager that's going to take 10% plus screw you on another 10%. So you guys need to figure out, if you have a property manager, just plan on 20% instead of the 10% they charge you, and that'll take care of most of your problem. So you guys have to figure out where that is for you and where you want to be. Do you want to be like, you want to buy 500 houses, right? No, you want to buy 6. You want 8, right? So everybody has their own goals, dreams, and ambitions. The last part is my favorite part. And this was supposed to be in the new book. When I redo this is going to be in the beginning because I want to start a baseline of where you're at. This wheel of life to me is one of the most important parts of not just my coaching program, but life. I literally do this every month. And I've continued to do this every month, focusing on not just money, but balance. I once turned around to talk to a guy, and he was like, money's great, but, and money in business is fantastic. He goes, but is it really worth it? My kids won't talk to me. I'm on my 3rd marriage, and I'm alone every night. Does that sound like a winner to me? That sounds terrible. Terrible, right? So you guys need to look at that balance as well. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes we got to go work our butts off to get ready for that next season. Another book that I love is called Jim Rohn's Seasons of Life. And he talks about in the springtime, you work with zero return on investment. The summertime, you wait and hope and pray. The fall time, you harvest your butt off. In the wintertime, you sit on your butt and do nothing. No. In the wintertime, you get ready for spring. You sharpen your plow hooks, you get ready, you get your tractor ready, you get everything ready to go. So when spring hits and that first day, you can go get out to work, right? He talks about these seasons of life. In wholesaling, I tell them the same thing, like your season of life. It's the work part. You get your marketing together, you go get it, you put it out. There's your summer. You sit and pray, wait for the phone to ring. Then when the phone rings, you get a housing contract. You work your butt off. But when after you're waiting for that harvest to come, you just sit there. No, you get ready for the next contract. Like there's always that ebb and flow in everything. So the same thing in real estate, same thing in houses. We're still doing those ebb and flows. Right now, you work your butt off, build your portfolio. Then you get to set back a little bit, get things situated, maybe move some portfolio around like I'm doing right now, move some money around, move some interest rates around, get ready for spring, get ready for summer. Because guess what? Spring's coming. Time to work. Summer's time to sit around. We're always doing the seasons of life. So when you put it, and you look at this wheel, I've got your children. If you don't have children, then you don't have to fill it in. Personal, finances, spiritual, group, which is our coaching group. I want to make sure every week that we're getting all the value out of our students and out of our coaching program. And if I get a 3 or 4 or 5 out of somebody, I want to know what I can do to make that a better number for you guys as a coach. Exercise, addiction, business, anger, and relationships, health. I try to keep all those things in balance as much as possible, right? Because without your health, I mean, does anybody want to be the richest man in the graveyard, right? Does anybody want to be the richest man and their children hate them, right? Does anybody want to be the richest person and your wife is out calling somebody else hubby, right? Do you want those things in your life? No, I don't. I want to make sure that when I come home, I still have a house, I still have a home. Like, what's the point in doing this? I watch guys do it all the time. They build these huge businesses and then get a divorce, lose half of it, and then lose the other half later on. So it's not worth it. Like making sure that you have that spiritual connection. Is it worth it without God? No, it's not. I'm telling you, I've done it with them, without it. It's way better with them. So you have to continue to keep your life in balance and looking at those things. So yes, we're working on real estate. Let's go take one of those things out of our lives. Maybe it's our children. Maybe it's something else. One of our coaching students was getting ready to get married, and he came up with a 3 on his relationships. I'm like, whoa, hey, bud, I hate to tell you this, but if you're getting married, that should be like 11. Like, you're 2 weeks away from getting married. This should be good times. Not like, you're like, oh, man. It's like, no, maybe I should work on that. Like, yeah, forget real estate. You're not working on real estate this week. You got your assignment. Why don't you go work on that? The next week came around. 2 weeks later, it came around. It was a 7. Man, what'd you do? He goes, they're making tacos twice a week. And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah. He goes, and then I cleaned up after the tacos. He's like, evidently they thought she really wanted, you know. He goes, and they're terrible tacos. And I was like, perfect, right? So he got his relationship up, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, work gets better. Everything else gets better, right? So making sure that you have the entire life around there, or going and talking to your spouse and be like, babe, we're in a point right now. Like, I've had to have this conversation with my wife lately. Like, we're in a season right now. Don't worry, this isn't going on forever. We're going to come out of this on the other side. All right, game plan, get together, make the game plan. All right, break. We're ready to go again. So what are those things inside of your life that you need to do? I made it on the bike because I just wanted you to imagine, eventually this is going to have a QR code here, and imagine getting on the top of the bike, filling in your wheel, and it's oblong. Or it's like mine looked like a Batman signal. That's the best I can describe it, the first one I did. It was way out of whack. Now imagine trying to take that wheel and going down the side of the mountain. How fast are you going to go? You guys have 100-mile-an-hour goals, and you're running on 10-mile-an-hour tires. And you can't understand why we keep crashing and burning over and over and over and over again, right? Now, not this room. This room's got it together. But the rest of the world are trying to run lives on 10-mile-an-hour tires, and they're trying to run a 100-mile life, and they don't understand why it keeps bouncing off and why they keep getting off course. And Every time they get going in the right direction, something falls apart. There was a guy tonight, a guy who's supposed to be here today, told me, "Oh man, I just can't believe." I was like, "I'll give you a book. I know you can afford it." He's one of my old friends. He was like, "I will be there. I can't wait." I was like, "I will help you and help you get some stuff done." Where's he at? Right? He doesn't commit to his commitment. He doesn't. I knew he wasn't going to be here. He says because it's his character, right? And he doesn't show up on a regular basis. So if you can't get that little thing taken care of, how are you going to go be successful? Yeah, I can go to that next level if you can't get the deal of just showing up on time, right? That little baseline things. Well, I stay up too late playing video games. Hey, shut that down, right? I realized my Xbox was costing me $20,000 a year. I got rid of the sucker. I mean, I hit the 20,000 hour mark on my Xbox, and in the middle of the day, my buddy was like, "Yeah, high five!" And I was like, "Wait." At the time, I was making $20 an hour, and I was like, "Wait." I was like, I picked up my phone. I was like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "Oh," my phone wasn't ringing. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, uh-huh, yeah." Guys, I'm so sorry. And I was at my house. I was like, I got to run. I left them at my house playing video games, and I left and went back to work. And I was like, this is ridiculous. A 13-year-old just kicked my butt in the middle of the day, and it's costing me $20 an hour to do this. This is ridiculous. So maybe you guys need to get rid of your Xbox, whatever it is. After you do that, my next thing is your reflection page. And this is to list out your top three. So your top and bottom three. So I want to look at your something that's going really right in your life, and the two that are going the really wrong in your life. Like what is needs to be improved. Now, most of the time in our coaching program, most of our students are at zero houses, or they're trying to get more houses. So usually houses and finances. Most people don't join a coaching program and go through this without needing some help in those areas. So most of them usually are something about money. Usually the other one is health, finances, something else. And then they usually have one thing that's going really fantastic in their life. So go through that, go through this whole process. And then what is something that most people don't know about you? It's really fun to start figuring out some stuff about people most people don't talk about. Next day is your Saturday reflection page. This is another, not Saturday, this is Sunday, sorry. This is the Sunday reflection page. More quotes, redefining your goal once again, looking at what you've done. And then right here is going through and finding out where you are in your goal at 25, 50%, 100%. And there's a reason I put 125%, because most people that do these books and do this, they usually hit about 120 to 150% of their goal. And I kid you not, like it is that much more than they usually thought. Unless they did something like one of the guys was like, I want to buy a house a month. And I was like, how many houses do you own? One. Okay, bud. We got one through the coaching program. You got a second one bought. And he was like, yeah, I realize now when you laugh when I said I want to do one a week, one a month. So unless you do something crazy like that and set like a really 10x goal for yourself, most of the time you can accomplish way more in 100 days than you ever thought you were possible. If you just make those little bitty 1% improvements on that one thing, if you make that one improvement, one habit of drinking water this week, you do that next week, and next week you add on a little bit of exercise, got a little bit of the next one, you'll be amazed by the end of the year where you're going to be at. You turn around and start making one extra phone call, calling one contractor, calling one plumber, calling one handyman, calling one person. You'll be amazed the Rolodex of people you'll have by the end of the year. You turn around and do that same thing with bankers. You turn that same thing everywhere else. Next thing you know, people know you. People know who you are. Be amazed. Some of the things I've gotten here. I want to hire a social media manager, or not social editor, professional editor. You guys should look at my Facebook and things like that. You're going to notice that the content there is a whole lot better, and going to get a whole lot better in the next 30 to 60 days with the stuff it's really cool. I'm nerding out right now. But that was one of the things I really want to do. I wanted to create better content, right? I want to have better stuff, better social media. I'm spending the time and energy doing it. I have this information. I want to give out more stuff for free. How can I do that? Hire that person. Great. How can I do that? Let's do this. Break down those steps. All right. Your beginning of your 7-day sprint, and then we start back on to day 8. And then this just continues on and continues on and continues on for 100 days. So I'm going to break it down. The next book's going to be 90 days. It's going to be a quarter. And one of the reasons I did that, is for one of my favorite books is Traction. If you guys have not read Traction, it's another book that I would highly recommend. If you are scaling up your business, if you have employees, if you do not have employees and you are not running a large company, get to the point where you have employees, and then you can get to the point where you need traction. But my Traction book, I forgot, I did bring it, but it looks like this. It's all fanned out. It has all kinds of sticky notes everywhere. It's all tore apart. It is a really great book on how to run your business, how to run your team meetings, how to run a structured business. I was able to take my local house buyers from doing $40,000 to $300,000 a year in a year by just simply running Traction and making sure that everybody's on the same page. We run our business on Traction. I'm about to hire a Traction implementer. I love Traction. But a lot of what's in Traction is where this book came from. Like looking at your daily tasks, looking at your daily KPIs, looking at those things on a daily basis. That's all I got for you guys. Questions?